meeting of the Laurel Highlands School Board to order. Please stand for a moment of silence. And flag salute.
Color, halt, up, face, freeze up, colors.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, colors, right, face, color, heart.
roll call. Mrs. Beal.
Mrs. Bortz.
Present.
Mrs. Andrews.
Here.
Mrs. Glad.
Here.
Mrs. Kalich.
Here.
Mr. Landon.
Here.
Mr. Raymond.
Here.
Mrs. Santor.
Present.
And Mr. Suffolk, and I'm present. All board members are present. Mr. Raymond is calling by phone.
Thank you, Mrs. Beal. Do we have a motion to adopt the agenda
So moved.
with an addendum? Do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Question on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. At this time, I'd like to recognize any visitors or guests who would like to speak on any motion or board action. Do we have anybody in the audience?
I would like to, sir.
Yes, ma'am. We have you right now.
Yes. I am Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Breezy Neiman. I'm Squad Commander of Laurel Highlands ROTC Unit, and I'm here to give a debrief of the past year and what we've accomplished.
You want to step up a little closer to us? Or do you have a mic there?
No, I was
Okay, that's good. We can hear you better.
All right. As I said, I am the squad commander, and the new squad commander for next year was actually in the color guard tonight. Our ROTC instructors are Sassy, Senior Aerospace Science Instructor, is Tony Diego, and we have an Aerospace Science Instructor who is Master Sergeant Sordone. This year we have accomplished a lot. Some of it is drill competitions. This year we brought home 11 trophies and 5 medals, and that's the most we've ever brought in a year. So we were really excited and happy about that. We participated in 3 raffle competitions, and we placed in every single one of those. We had lots of community service events that we did here within the school, things like Operation Blackout and Jean Day for Warriors, where we had teachers either wear jeans and they paid a fee to wear them, and it went towards the Garrison's Foundation that supports and helps wounded soldiers. Also this year, we earned something called the Distinguished Unit Award. And what that is everything that we do, we have set goals in the beginning of every school year. And we track those goals in something called WINGS. And that's what headquarters can look at to see how we're going. And as they looked at it, they thought that we were very distinguished with it, so they gave us such an award, and we were very grateful for it. Cadets worked hard for it. As I said, community service, we did lots of community service this year. Between color guards and various events to blood drives and collection for the troops, where cadets stood outside a giant eagle and asked for donations, either money or supplies, to be sent overseas to troops, and we actually collected over 600 pounds worth of supplies. So we were very honored to do that as well for them, and we were glad we had such a great outcome for it. For squadron goals, we have quite a bit of goals actually, and some of it is that we do color guards just as what was presented to you guys. We're supposed to have each flight, we have 6 flights, and we want them to do a color guard each quarter. So they do it for anything between school boards or any kind of games that are going on between football or baseball or like basketball, and we actually did really good on that goal. We were very proud of them as well for that. Within the school this year, during the second 9 weeks, we The unit established a recycling program within the school. Right now, we have 13 locations where we have bins set up, and actually one's right behind you. We set this up, and we hope to expand it next year. We hope it keeps going on, so eventually every classroom will have it. Another school goal for us was to conduct 30 activities to promote the name of the Laurel Highlands RTC unit, and we succeeded that immensely. We had over 40 activities or events that we did between the car show that we had at the beginning of the year and the gun bash we had as a fundraiser as well. Just everything, including the Jean Day operations we did here. Again, another goal of ours was to have 2 donation drives per 9 weeks, and that also goes with the blood drives or Toys for Tots, where cadets went to the mall and helped hand out or sort toys to give to families. Every year, and actually it's a criteria to get the Distinguished Unit Award, is we have to have 2 CIA trips, and CIA stands for Curriculum in Action. And we actually had 3 this year. One of them, we went to Carnegie Science Center up in Pittsburgh, where cadets got to tour the USS Requin, and they get to do some experiments that were part of our lesson for science of flight. And then also in March, we went on a trip up to Pittsburgh to the 171st Refueling Air Wing. And we went on a KC-135, it's a refueling plane, and cadets got to experience something called a mid-air collision, where it's the jet is refueling another mid-air. It was a very awesome experience. Some of it was the first time cadets actually flew. It was a great time. We had a blast. And the last trip that we took was to Virginia. Cadets got to tour 3 different bases. One was Langley Air Force Base. Another was the Army Base Fort Eustis. And then we toured the USS Abraham Lincoln at Norfolk Air Force Base. Norfolk Naval Base. That was awesome too, because we just got to see all the military personnel. We got to see how they really took pride in their uniform and things like that. It was a great time. The people were awesome. So this summer, the seniors go and the new leadership comes in. This summer they already have planned, they're going to set summer staff meetings so they can actually get events for next year in motion. They usually have 3 or 4 every summer. We're also hoping this summer that cadets can fly a Cessna 172. It was also something we started last year, where cadets got to have the opportunity to do a light orienteering, where they actually were a co-pilot on a Cessna 172. And things we hope to work on more is continue working hard in drill, the rifle team, our cyber team, which actually placed silver in one of our competitions this year, and to have ACT competitions, which is Air Commando. Hopefully more community service opportunities. You can never have enough of those. And just continue to do what we do and have a blast. Any questions?
Anybody have any questions from the board? Well, thank you very much for your contribution.
Just a side note, during my time in the building, I'm often going by their room. I often see them behind my office practicing and doing the things that they need to do in order to instill integrity, teamwork, cohesion, and they do a very nice job. I'm very glad to have our OTC cadets in our building. You do a wonderful job. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you all of you.
Do we have a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of April 17, 2018?
I'll make a motion.
Question on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the attendance records of committee meetings and work sessions, the Finance, Budget, and Taxation Committee meeting of May 10th, 2018, the work session of May 15th, 2018.
I'll make a motion.
Question on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. This meeting will be televised On the Atlantic Broadband Channel 17 CUTV, I was also ordered to say it's on South Union Township, South Union Television on your tube. Is that correct, Mr.?
Yes.
On YouTube. That's May 19th at 5 o'clock, Wednesday, May 23rd at 5 o'clock.
And it's on Channel 17 cable,
Channel
too.
17. Would you like me to read that again?
Yeah.
On Atlantic Broadband, Channel 17, CUTV. And you can also get it on YouTube. Just go to South Union Television on YouTube. Correct?
Right.
Thank you, Jerry. Dr. Wallace, your report.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Suffolk. First, informational kindergarten registration was held during the week of April 30th through May 4th of 2018. Our current numbers are as follows: Clark Elementary 47, Hatfield Elementary 43, Hutchinson Elementary 48, and Marshall Elementary 38. If anyone out there listening, if your child did not register for kindergarten during the week of registration, there will be a makeup day scheduled for Friday, May the 25th. Please call your child's respective school to register for an appointment to arrange to complete the process for your child prior to the first day of the new year. And it really helps if we can get as many kindergartners registered prior to the first week of school as possible. Historically, what an elementary principal will recognize is that during the first week of school or the week prior to school, anywhere between 15 and 20 new students come in to register. And getting them placed in classrooms and materials ready is imperative. So if you can get your children in early, it will really help the process. There's no student recognition this month. A couple of items that I have. First, I would like to congratulate the Laurel Highlands Middle School, Mr. Rosgoni and Ms. Scott, for their participation in the Rural Arts Collaborative. This was a grant sponsored by the Benedum, Mr. Jim DeNova, and the oversight of this grant is from Ms. Carmel Nickens. We had an artist, Mr. James Simon, work with our Laurel Highlands Middle School students and build and present to the district a nice mosaic at the middle school. When you walk in the main entrance of the middle school, it is placed right in your sight as you walk in the front door. It's very impressive, to say the least, and just another avenue of the grants that we have available to us and the partnerships that we are making with our community. So congratulations to everyone involved with that. It's very beautiful, and the students did an excellent job. Great work. We as a district are proud to announce that we have recently completed 2 successful professional development sessions, March 14th and April 10th, as a Google Supper Clubs. Staff attended from 5 to 7:30 to learn how to effectively utilize the Google tools in education. Both sessions were instructed by Mr. Jim Miller, a Level 1 certified instructor and LH teacher. And I attended one of these myself because as much as I use this platform, I still want to make sure that I'm fresh and that I'm able to manipulate all of the tools in there as I should be. And Jim did a wonderful job, good work. And Randy, nice job in bringing that to the district. Tonight, as usual, we usually give our board representatives, student representatives, a plaque of recognition, but I can see that neither one are here today. The seniors are not in school this week due to some testing. But I would like to acknowledge Ms. Abigail Fillion and Elizabeth Rockwell as our student board representatives for the year. They did a wonderful job, and it was nice working with them and good work. The last item I have, Mr. Septic, is something that we look forward to and we implemented a few years ago. It's the Laurel Highlands Golden Mustang Award. And I'm going to read a brief summary of where we're at and what we're doing with this. The Laurel Highlands School District is a proud educational institution built on strong beliefs and traditions. In an effort to recognize the contributions of many staff members that support these beliefs and traditions, we have instituted the Golden Mustang Award. This program is aimed at raising community and school awareness of staff members that exemplify our goals and missions. The intent is to acknowledge our staff that goes above and beyond, going out of their way to help others and making our district a great place to work. The staff members who are nominated have already received a certificate of recognition as well as a Golden Mustang pin from their building principal. Of the 383 staff members in the district, the following 61 employees were recognized this school year. At this time, if there are any Golden Mustang recipients present this evening, please stand and be recognized as I call your name. And please hold your applause until the end. Are there anyone here in the crowd tonight? Please stand. You're a Golden Mustang Award winner. And I'm going to read the names of the others in concurrent with you guys. Ms. Tiffany Dudak, 3rd grade, Clark Elementary. Mr. Dave Mitchell, security, Clark Elementary. Ms. Teddy Mediosky, 4th grade, Clark Elementary. Ms. Christina, Dugone Evans, secretary, Clark. Mr. Justin Ward, 5th grade, Clark. Ms. Julian Braddock, learning support teacher, Clark. Ms. Courtney Galper, learning support teacher, Clark. Mildred Klein, 1st grade, Clark. Mr. Donnie Santor, physical education teacher, Marshall. Ms. Suzanne Gravizza, learning support, Marshall. Olivia Skor, art teacher, Marshall. Ms. Corey Mahoney, 5th grade, Marshall. Erin Tatlinger, kindergarten, Marshall. Kathy Vernon, library, Marshall. Kathy Collins, 3rd grade, Marshall. Ms. Jessie Foster, learning support, Hatfield. Mr. Jeremy Winkler, 5th grade, Hatfield. Ms. Heather Smith, 5th grade, Hatfield. Megan Radcliffe, 5th grade, Hatfield. Bobby Downs, 3rd grade, Hatfield. Tony Leone, 2nd grade, Hatfield. Colleen Mara, reading specialist, Hatfield. Jill John, 4th grade, Hatfield. Amelia Jacobs, nurse aide, Hatfield. Debbie Cunningham, secretary, Hutchison. Lisa Fields, cafeteria manager, Hutchison. Christy Hopkins, 2nd grade, Hutchison. Rebecca Massey, personal care aide, Hutchison. Kristen Murphy, kindergarten, Hutchison. Ms. Beth Sheehan, long-term substitute, Hutchison. Ashley Shope, 4th grade, Hutchison. Julie Hildock, custodian, LH Middle School. Ms. Lisa Renzi, librarian, LH Middle School. Amber Hughes, 6th grade reading, LH Middle School. Ms. Paula O'Connell, 8th grade English, Laurel Highlands Middle School. Ms. Tiffany O'Brien, personal care aide, Middle School. Ms. Judy Ozanich, secretary, Middle School. Mr. Jim Miller, band director, Middle School. Ms. Jamie Sasevich, learning support, Middle School. Ms. Amy Kessler, might as well stand up, Machine Man. Ms. Amy Kessler, McCanty, art teacher, Middle School. Ms. Maria Mangus, learning support, Middle School. Mr. Paul Eckert, history, Middle School. Pete Williams, computer, Middle School. Mr. Sean Valente, tech ed, Middle School. Zach Hickson, 6th grade math, Middle School. Nicole Boda, guidance counselor, Middle School. Ms. Brandon Fife, guidance counselor, Middle School. Ms. Jennifer Neal, 7th grade English, Middle School. Jeremy Simon, French, Middle School. Richard Smith, substitute, high school. Lauren Stewart, music teacher, high school. Stephanie Felitsky, cafeteria staff, high school. Lynn Hillen, cafeteria staff, high school. Sherry Martin, cafeteria staff, high school. Michelle Masaya, cafeteria, high school. Laura Myers, cafeteria, high school. Carrie Wilson, cafeteria, high school. And Mr. Carl Schusko, social studies teacher at the high school. All of these teachers are to be recognized. They brought great credit to themselves and to the district. Great work, guys. Please give them a hard Mr. Suffolk, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Academic Foundation report, Mrs. Kamen.
Nothing this time, Mr. Suffolk.
Thank you very much. Strategic Plan and Board Policy Committee, Jamie.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve the special education plan report.
Are you going to make the motion?
Yeah, I said I'd like to make a motion.
We have a second?
Second.
Question on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, that concludes my report, Mr. Suffolk.
Thank you, Mrs. DeAndrea. Board Policy Committee report. Curriculum Committee, Mrs. Santor.
Item C1A, I'd like to make a motion for the approval for Ms. Carol Semsey to attend the Advanced Placement AP English Summer Training, June 26th through 29th, 2018. The approximate cost is $800 and mandatory to teach the course. I'd like to put that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Santor?
Yes.
Mrs. DeAndrea?
Yes.
Mr. Raymond?
Yes.
Mrs. Beal?
Yes.
Mrs. Kalich?
Yes.
Mr. Lamon?
Yes.
Mrs. Glad?
Yes.
Mrs. Wertz?
Yes.
Mr. Suffolk?
Yes.
9 yeas.
Item C2A, permission to approve the out-of-attendance area update, which states that effective with the 2018-2019 school year, all kindergarten through grade 5 out-of-attendance area requests will be denied. This continues the procedures implemented 7 years ago. I'd like to put that into a form of a motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Santor?
Yes.
Mrs. DeAndrea?
Yes.
Mrs. Wertz?
Yes.
Mrs. Beal?
Yes.
Mr. Raymond? Mr. Lamon?
Yes.
Mrs. Kalish?
Yes.
Mrs. Glad?
Yes.
Mr. Suffolk?
Yes.
9 yeas.
Item C3I, just informational. The district would like to thank Uniontown Hospital for providing at no cost CPR training to our entire staff during the April Professional Development Day. We would also like to thank Uniontown Hospital for providing numerous in-the-field experts to speak with our students throughout the school year. Item C4A, permission to approve LBI student and an LH alumnus, Brendan Canopa, to complete a 2018 summer internship under Lenny Neal and Bryce Uris. Brendan will complete 150 hours. I'd like to put that into the form of a motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
Item C5A, permission to approve West Virginia student Ryan Jackson to complete a student-teacher assignment with Mr. Mark Santor, music teacher, from October 22nd to December 7th, 2018. I'd like to put that into the form of a motion.
Second.
Question on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mrs. Santor. Buildings and Grounds Committee, Mrs. Wertz?
BG 1A, permission to approve permission for Verizon to complete a small cell project. Will provide $125 per month of income to the district. Put that in motion.
Second.
Question on the motion? Roll call.
Mrs. Wertz?
Yes.
Mrs. Santor?
Yes.
Mrs. Kalish?
Yes.
Mrs. DeAndrea?
Yes.
Mrs. Glad?
Yes.
Mr. Raymond? Mrs. Beal?
Yes.
Mr. Lamon?
Yes.
Mr. Suffolk?
Yes.
9 yeas.
That concludes your report.
That
on
concludes
Buildings
my
and Grounds.
report. Thank you.
Finance, Budget, and Taxation Committee, Mrs. Wertz is going to do this report.
F1A, Treasurer and Budget Report, Exhibit B. Put that in the form of a motion. Second.
Question on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
F2A, Payment of Bills, Exhibit C. Put that in the form of a motion. Second.
Question on the motion? Roll call.
Mrs. Wertz?
Yes.
Mrs. DeAndrea?
Yes.
Mr. Raymond? Mr. Lamon?
Yes.
Mrs. Beal?
Yes.
Mrs. Santor?
Yes.
Mrs. Glad?
Yes.
Mrs. Kalish?
Yes.
Mr. Suffolk?
Yes.
9 yeas.
F3 and F4 are both informational. F5, Federal Report, Exhibit F. Put that in the form of a motion. Second.
Question on the motion? Roll call.
Mrs. Wertz?
Yes.
Mr. Raymond? Mrs. DeAndrea?
Yes.
Mrs. Kalish?
Yes.
Mrs. Santor?
Yes.
Mrs. Beal? Mrs. Glad?
Yes.
Mr. Lamon?
Yes.
Mr. Suffolk?
Yes.
9 yeas.
F6A, Student Activity Funds, Athletic Funds, Exhibit G. Put that in the form of a motion.
Question on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
F7, approval of tentative budget and setting of date for adoption of the final budget for fiscal year 2018-2019. Exhibit H, $52,603,666, that's 666 got me, dollars. Put that in the form of a motion, please.
Question on the motion? Roll call.
Mrs. Wertz?
Yes.
Mr. Raymond? Mrs. Beal?
Yes.
Mr. Lamon?
Yes.
Mrs. DeAndrea?
Yes.
Mrs. Santor?
Yes.
Mrs. Kalish?
Yes.
Mrs. Glad?
Yes.
Mr. Suffolk?
Yes.
9 yeas.
F8A, approval of payment of the Fayette Area Career and Technical Institution in the amount of $1,039,578 for the current 2017-2018 school year. I'll put that in the form of a motion.
Question on the motion, roll call.
Mrs. Schwartz?
Yes.
Mr. Raymond?
Yes.
Mrs. Glad?
Yes.
Mrs. Kalich?
Yes.
Mrs. Santor?
Yes.
Mr. Lamon?
Yes.
Mrs. Beal?
Yes.
Mrs. DeAndrea?
Yes.
Mr. Suffolk?
Yes.
9 yeas.
F9A, election of board treasurer for one-year term beginning July 1st, 2018. Current treasurer is Jamie Miller DeAndrea, and I'd like to make a motion to keep her in as the treasurer.
I'll second it.
Do we have a second on that?
Have a second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Schwartz?
Yes.
Mrs. Beal?
Yes.
Mrs. Glad?
Yes.
Mr. Raymond?
Yes.
Mrs. Santor?
Yes.
Mrs. Kalich?
Yes.
Mr. Lamon?
Yes.
Mrs. DeAndrea?
Abstain.
Mr. Suffolk?
Yes.
8 yeas, 1 abstention.
That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mrs. Schwartz.
You're welcome.
Going back to F7A, we haven't established a date for the adoption of the tentative budget, and that could possibly be our next regular school board meeting or a special meeting after that. Is that okay, Mr. Frankhauser?
It has to be advertised.
Yeah, I understand we have to advertise it.
So, I would say that you need to say that at the latest date, it would be June the 30th.
Okay?
Do you want me to read it over?
No,
Okay.
We have to withdraw.
Just let the record reflect that June 30th will be the latest day to adopt the budget for the Laurel Highlands School District. Will that work, Mr. Frankhauser?
Yes, and the necessary advertisement can be done once the president, in conjunction with the remaining board members and the finance committee, establish the date.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Frankhauser.
Thank you.
Food Service Committee, Mrs. Glad.
FS1A, I'd like to put into the form of a motion the acceptance of the cafeteria report, Exhibit I.
Second.
Question on the motion, roll call.
Mrs. Glad?
Yes.
Mrs. Kalich?
Yes.
Mr. Lamon?
Yes.
Mrs. DeAndrea?
Yes.
Mr. Raymond?
Yes.
Mrs. Schwartz?
Yes.
Mrs. Beal?
Yes.
Mrs. Santor?
Yes.
Mr. Suffolk?
Yes.
9 yeas.
FS2I, this is informational. The Crystal Apple Award-winning Laurel Highlands Summer Food Program, SFP, will be in operation from June 11th through August 17th, 2018. They will be serving nutritious and delicious meals at the high school location and at Marshall Elementary School location. Breakfast will be served from 7:45 a.m. until 9 a.m. and lunch from 10:45 a.m. until 12:45 p.m. daily. Mr. Suffolk, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mrs. Glad. Security and Transportation Committee, Mrs. Beal.
1A, approve permission to use 2 additional bus drivers from First Student.
Second.
Question on the motion, roll call.
Mrs. Beal?
Yes.
Mrs. DeAndrea?
Yes.
Mrs. Glad?
Yes.
Mr. Lamon?
Yes.
Mrs. Santor?
Yes.
Mrs. Schwartz?
Yes.
Mrs. Kalich?
Yes.
Mr. Raymond?
Yes.
Mr. Suffolk?
Yes.
9 yeas.
2A, approve permission for new uniforms for security guards.
Second, but I have a question, Mr. Suffolk, on the motion.
Go ahead.
I want to make sure that there is something on the back of the polo shirts that's going to identify them as school police officers. My concern is if students, staff, administration are looking at them from behind, that makes them blend in just like any other staff and not making them easily visible for help.
That's a good point, Mrs. DeAndrea. Mr. Barrett, can we do that?
We can absolutely take care of it.
All right, there'll be something on the front and on the back.
Correct.
And they are, we didn't bring an example of what they are, but I think it's going to make a terrific change in the appearance of our security people in the school district.
What are you going to identify them, security or
The
police?
ones that are police will be identified as police, the ones that are security will be identified as security. Will be there.
And those will be in large captioned letters on the back so that they're easily.
Shoulder to shoulder.
Okay, great.
This is, number
We need to
3.
vote on that. We have a second on your motion, Mrs. Ford?
She's the second.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Okay.
but we-
Roll call.
Mrs. Beal?
Yes.
Mrs. DeAndrea?
Yes.
Mr. Lamon?
Yes.
Mr. Raymond?
Yes.
Mrs. Kalich?
Yes.
Mrs. Santor?
Yes.
Mrs. Sports?
Yes.
Mrs. Glad?
Yes.
Mr. Seppic?
Yes.
9 yeas.
Number 3 is informational. All district security guards attended the act of threat response training on April the 20th, 2018, and were awarded a certificate of completion. Is that right?
That's correct.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Beal. That concludes your report. Mrs. Beal,
What?
does that conclude your report?
Yes.
Oh, thank you very much. Human Resource Committee, Mrs. Kalich.
P1A, approve additional substitute teachers, Exhibit J. I'd like to put that into the form of a motion.
Second.
Question on the motion? Roll call.
Mrs. Kalich?
Yes.
Mrs. Glad?
Yes.
Mrs. DeAndrea?
Yes.
Mrs. Sports?
Yes.
Mrs. Beal?
Yes.
Mrs. Santor?
Yes.
Mr. Raymond?
Yes.
Mr. Lamon?
Yes.
Mr. Seppic?
Yes.
9 yeas.
P4A, approve additional substitute employees for support personnel, Exhibit J, including Linda Smoshinsky. I'd like to put that into a form of a motion.
Second.
Question on the motion? Roll call.
Mrs. Kalich?
Yes.
Mrs. Glad?
Yes.
Mr. Lamon?
Yes.
Mr. Raymond?
Yes.
Mrs. Santor?
Yes.
Mrs. Beal?
Yes.
Mrs. Sports?
Yes.
Mrs. DeAndrea?
Yes.
Mr. Seppic?
Yes.
9 yeas.
P5A, update on paraprofessional placements, Exhibit K. I'd like to put that into a form of a motion.
Second.
Question on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
That concludes my report, Mr. Seppi.
Thank you, Mrs. Kalich. Athletic and Extracurricular Activities Committee, Mr. Lamon.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Seppic. Under AE1A, permission to approve ambulance coverage for home football games. That would be with EMS Southwest, that's Exhibit L. And basic life support coverage is $95 per hour. Advanced life support, ALS coverage is $105 per hour. I'd like to put that in form of a motion at this time.
Second.
Question on the motion? Roll call.
Mr. Lamon?
Yes?
Mrs. Santor?
Yes.
Mr. Raymond?
Yes.
Mrs. Beal?
Yes.
Mrs. Glad?
Yes.
Mrs. Kalich?
Yes.
Mrs. DeAndrea?
Yes.
Mrs. Sports?
Yes.
Mr. Seppic?
Yes.
9 yeas.
Under AE2A, permission to approve school physicians and dentists for the 2018-19 school year as follows. They're the same as last year. That's Exhibit M. School physicals, Centerville Clinics, $9 per physical. School doctor, Dr. Sean Conley, $150 per football game. School dentist, K 3 and 7, Dr. Kelly Hostetler, $1,000. That would be Hatfield, Hutchison, and Marshall. And Doctors Aurelio and Joan Cicchini, $1,000. That would be Clark and Middle School. I'd like to put that in the form of a motion at this time.
Second.
Question on the motion? Roll call.
Mr. Lamon?
Yes?
Mrs. Santor?
Yes.
Mrs. DeAndrea?
Yes.
Mr. Raymond?
Yes.
Mrs. Kalich?
Yes.
Mrs. Beal?
Yes.
Mrs. Sports?
Yes.
Mrs. Glad?
Yes.
Mr. Seppic?
Yes.
9 yeas.
Also, I have a spring sports update from our athletic director, Mr. John. He sends these at the end of each of the seasons, and we have some very good reports. Some highlights for the spring sports. The baseball team were section champs for the second time in 2 years. They had the first playoff game against Fox Chapel on Tuesday. We won 6-5. Coach Steve Berry was named Coach of the Year. Tanner Minio and Travis Sankovich were named to the first team All-Section. Mason McManus and Dino Vecchiola were named to the second team All-Section. Nathan Zimkowski was named Honorable Mention. In softball, Haley Rusko was named first team All-Section. Ellie Lowry was named second team All-Section. Kai Zungri was named designated hitter. Track will compete on Thursday, that's today, at Baldwin in the WVL finals to determine the state seedings. Bryce Lasky from the basketball team was named to the second team All-State this year. Alumni news, Brihanna Jacobs, the high school state champion here at Laurel Highlands in the 100, 200, and 400 meters will be inducted into the WPI Hall of Fame in June. Christy Leskinen will be inducted into the Fayette County Hall of Fame in June. And Mr. John writes if he's inadvertently left any players off all the sections, he'll get the update back to us tomorrow. Also, just an update, just released today, Laurel Highlands baseball team will play next Tuesday at West Mifflin against Mars at 2 p.m. game. And we wish them good luck in the playoffs, and that concludes my report. Mr. Civic?
Thank you, Mr. Landon. Mr. Frankhauser, you have the floor.
One grievance remains pending with the service employees. A substitute arbitrator has been selected, but there has not been a date selected for the arbitration hearing. With regard to my report, we continue to deal with the tax assessment appeal, specifically with the Uniontown Mall. We have come to a conclusion on the values, but the repayment of prior year's overpayment remains a very important issue that will have a substantial effect on the budget. So we are continuing to negotiate that in the hopes of coming to a at least palatable conclusion on how that's going to be handled. Thank you.
Thank you,
Mr. Civic, I just have one thing.
Yes, sir.
Folks, I forgot to make sure we all give a nice congratulations at the spring sports teams.
On L3, I can take that matter. This is precautionary only, and it's allowing the realignment of staff as may be required depending on the programs that are added or amended or deleted. So this motion is requested to allow the superintendent, in compliance with the law and the collective bargaining agreement, to realign the staff following any such deletions or additions presented, and to post the vacancies resulting from that realignment. Paragraph B is a statement only if necessary, and that's not anticipated at all, so that's not to indicate that this is going to occur. But in the event that it becomes necessary for any suspensions, that the proper notices be given, but as stated, that is not anticipated. So we would request a motion to allow this procedure to move forward over the next 2 months.
Thank you, Mr. Frankhauser. Do we have a motion on that?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Question on the motion? Roll call.
Mrs. DeAndrea?
Yes.
Mrs. Beal?
Yes.
Mrs. Glad?
Yes.
Mr. Raymond?
Yes.
Mrs. Santor?
No.
Mr. Lamon?
No.
Mrs. Bortz?
No.
Mrs. Kalich? No. Mr. Suffolk?
No.
Therefore, the superintendent's not permitted to realign the staff if necessary.
I believe we need to have another meeting concerning the budget before we can determine any other.
That's fine. That can be voted on at the next meeting.
We have time, don't we?
Yes,
When is the date we have to, we'd have to notify the staff?
it's in July. We could do it as late as August, depending on the realignments and the postings of it. But we'd like to do it as soon as possible so that the staff knows what positions they're going to have and be prepared to be able to prepare their classrooms and
I'm going to be
agenda.
very frank. My position on the school board as president, I'm not in favor of abolishing positions. I know we have to realign maybe some programs, but I'm not in favor of abolishing people's positions.
Well, that's why I made that caveat for paragraph B. That's not anticipated at all.
I understand, and I don't want to get into a debate over the situation. I like to know just exactly what's going to happen before it happens.
And the board would have to vote on that again.
Yeah, I understand,
No
but
doubt
I
about
still
it.
want to be thoroughly advised as to what is going to happen in case there would be a need for curtailment of programs or
That's appropriate. It's no
Can
problem.
I change
I
your
don't
vote?
really think that Mr. Wallace is going to abolish any job unless he comes to the board.
That, I mean,
I've
I'll remain
never
quiet
known the
here.
superintendent
I'm
to do
six
that.
half dozen one way or another on this. Historically, this is something that's been approved every year.
Yeah.
No abolishments or no curtailments would happen unless I had a meeting with the board to discuss that prior to that action being taken.
Absolutely.
It's not something that happens arbitrarily or unilaterally by myself. It's something that we go down the path together with. Should the budget reveal something in the next 15 days, you would definitely be in the loop of that, and whatever action needed to be taken would be taken at a directive of the board. I do not act unilaterally in that capacity at all, or have I ever, and do I ever anticipate moving unilaterally in that direction. This is a precautionary measure that protects the district and that helps us realign should we need to realign.
That's something.
This is just a formality, if I'm correct, that it happens every year.
That is
And
correct.
it's for programs too, and the board, from my understanding, would have the final say-so or vote if any positions were to be abolished.
Absolutely.
But in the clause, it specifically states that we're not anticipating any, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Then I'll change my vote from allowed to a yes.
Well, parliamentary
You'd have to have
procedure
another
would require that
another-
someone else make the motion that did not make the original motion, and that there be a second by someone who did not make the original second.
I'd like to make another motion again for consideration of abolishment and additions of programs and positions.
Is there a second over
I
there?
second it.
We can add to the motion, if you, based on the conversation, that no movement or abolishments will occur without further board action.
And I don't think any board member here wants any abolishments. We're all for our teachers and custodians and,
I don't think that's my question. My question is, I just want to know what's going to happen before it
well,
happens.
he has
That's all.
always, he's
Well,
always
no,
told us.
I'm not going to, again, I'm not going to get into a debate with anybody.
No, I understand.
My feelings are my feelings. That's the way I'm going to vote until I see what's going to happen.
Well, we had an agenda meeting the other night. I'm sure that should have been
Well,
a discussion.
that's my position. I just want to know what's going to happen before it happens. And I know last year, and I've never voted for this motion,
Well,
so I've been on the board.
I will not abolish jobs.
You know,
We need
We have a motion,
everybody we
we have a
have.
motion on the floor. Let's vote on it.
Mrs. DeAndrea,
Yes.
Mrs. Beal,
Yeah.
Mrs. Blatch,
But excuse me, did we change the motion?
Yeah.
we added to it.
We added to it.
Added to it that the board would be a notification prior to the action being taken.
Okay, so yes.
Mr. Raymond,
Yes.
Mr. Lamon,
No.
Mrs. Bortz,
With the change, my vote is yes.
Mrs. Kalich,
Yes.
Mrs. Santor,
No.
Mr. Suffolk.
No.
6 yeas, 3 nays.
Motion carries. Let's go to the addendum on the. Let's go.
Okay, I'd like the board to consider a motion to approve armed security guards to be paid at a rate of $15 per hour.
We didn't do general matters yet.
We're going to go back to that.
Okay.
We have a motion,
So moved.
Second.
question on the motion, roll call.
Mrs. DeAndrea,
Yes.
Mrs. Glad,
Yes.
Mr. Raymond,
Yes.
Mr. Lamon,
Yes.
Mrs. Beal,
Yes.
Mrs. Santor,
Yes.
Mrs. Bortz,
Yes.
Mrs. Kalich,
Yes.
Mr. Suffolk.
Yes.
9 yeas.
I'd like the board to consider a motion to approve Mr. David Mitchell as an armed security guard. He is currently a security guard at Clark Elementary School.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Question on the motion, roll call.
Who was that second?
Mine. I don't have somebody else.
Who seconded it over here?
I can go.
Mrs. Santor, you
I
seconded?
did, yes.
Mrs. Bortz?
Yes.
Mrs. Santor?
Yes.
Mrs. Beal?
Yes.
Mr. Raymond?
Yes.
Mr. Lamon?
Yes.
Mrs. Kalich?
Yes.
Mrs. Glad?
Yes.
Mrs. DeAndrea?
Yes.
Mr. Suffolk?
Yes.
9 yeas.
Just for the record, 3A was already taken care of earlier in the agenda. That's why that will not be read. Item 4A, motion to terminate employment of Sherry Day, the cafeteria manager at the high school, effective immediately.
So moved.
Second.
Question on the motion, roll call.
Mrs. Santor?
Yes.
Mrs. Kalich?
Yes.
Mrs. Force?
Yes.
Mr. Raymond?
Yes.
Mr. Lamond?
Yes.
Mrs. Glad?
Yes.
Mrs. Beal?
Yes.
Mrs. DeAndrea?
Yes.
Mr. Suffolk?
Yes.
9 yeas.
The board to consider a motion to terminate the employment of Mr. Keith Nicholson, 10.5-month custodian at the high school, effective immediately.
So moved.
Second.
Question on the motion, roll call.
Mrs. Kalich?
Yes.
Mrs. Force?
Yes.
Mrs. Santor?
Yes.
Mrs. DeAndrea?
Yes.
Mr. Raymond?
Yes.
Mr. Lamond?
Yes.
Mrs. Glad?
Yes.
Mrs. Beal?
Yes.
Mr. Suffolk?
Yes.
9 yeas.
That concludes the agenda, Mr. Senator.
General matters, election of board secretary for a 3-year term beginning July 1st, 2018. The current treasurer is, the current secretary is Mrs. Beal.
I'll make a motion to keep Mrs. Bill.
Second.
Question on the motion, roll call.
Mrs. Force?
Yes.
Mrs. DeAndrea?
Yes.
Mrs. Glad?
Yes.
Mrs. Kalich?
Yes.
Mr. Lamond?
Yes.
Mr. Raymond?
Yes.
Mrs. Santor?
Yes.
Mrs. Beal?
Abstain.
Mr. Suffolk?
Yes.
8 yeas, 1 abstention.
Career and Technical Institute report, Mrs. Beal or?
Yes, today at 12 o'clock, we had 11 nursing assistant graduate at the Tech school. There's something else too. What was it?
I do have one item there if I can help, Ms. Beal.
Oh, sure.
We did have a career day at the middle school with our CTI school, and there was a nice video that we had that was just emailed to us late in the day today. We do want to show it, but we couldn't get everything operational for this meeting today, but we will have that video for the next board meeting, Ms. Beal.
Okay, I know.
But it's a very nice event, and I know that you were
I was
present
there at Hatfield School. It was wonderful to watch those children enjoy all the animals, and they have a wonderful day. And I think the teachers enjoyed it too. I know I did.
I would also like to shout out CTI in partnership with Courtney Vienick and Hatfield School under Mrs. Mears. I understand had a fantastic career day. If you'd like to share anything, I hear such good things about that day and that event.
We're going to be presenting it at the June board meeting, Mrs. Foster and myself and Mrs. Vienick, about the entire event. It was our first year of partnering with CTI, and it was a hands-on experience for everybody. And I'm glad Mrs. Beal got to experience it. It was a great day. I'm looking forward to sharing more with you in June.
I had a very good time.
Intermediate, is that all, Mrs. DeAndrea?
Yes, we had 26 students at the Tech School inducted into the honors. And that was last week. I think that's a lot to be proud of.
Sure is.
They have a tremendous program out there. It's very well rewarded. The intermediate unit report, we have no report. Other business or public comment? Anybody would like to make a comment? Yes, sir.
I got a couple questions.
State your name, sir.
My name is Rick Lamb. The one employee that was fired, what was she fired for?
Cannot answer that, sir.
Well, I already know the answer to it. Are you just going out there, is there charges being filed?
Cannot answer that. It's under investigation.
But according to the Sunshine Law, we have a right to find out. All right?
Once it's completed,
Okay.
yes.
And make sure the money's recovered.
Oh, absolutely.
Because listen, you're talking about spending $52 million of taxpayers' money. Go after this. This ain't the first one. The other ones were left to retire and weren't going after. Somebody should have caught this before it got as far as it did. Somebody is inept at their job. If I did my job like that, I'd be fired. And I want to thank the three of them that stuck to your guns and kept your nose, but that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. We have a motion to adjourn. Anybody else? We have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make
Motion?
second.
Question on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Mr. Raymond, that's a wrap. Is it good? Thank you, sir. Okay, I'll talk to you later.